You're watching Anderson County Sports TV. Welcome, folks, to opening day. Anderson Bearcats at Franklin County. And this game is already in the third inning. It was scheduled to start at 6, but they moved it ahead about 45 minutes to beat the oncoming rain, and didn't get the memo. So what can I say? But here in the third, top of the third, Anderson County leading off. They trail 1-0. Franklin County scored in the bottom of the second when a young man hit a triple and was brought in on a sacrifice fly. On the mound for Franklin County is T.A. Crumbo. At the plate, I believe we've got Klink for the Bearcats, and he goes down swinging here in the top of the third. Klink is the catcher. And the shortstop now, Gabe Lewitt, comes to the plate. He swings at the first ball he sees. And that one's a little outside. As I said, this is opening day. First game of the season here for both of these teams. Starting off with a clean slate. Must have been a little outside because it looked pretty good from here. 3-1 now the count to Gabe Lewitt. Lewitt just a freshman. Full count now. Does Gabe like that pitch? That's going to be a foul ball, just barely. Picked up over there at first by Campbell. Alex Campbell, Jr. for Franklin County. And Lewitt draws a walk as Crumbo goes high. Bearcats had a base runner in the bottom of the second, but they couldn't bring him in. Now Blake Franklin. He's a senior. Been playing center field for a couple of years now. First pitch is a strike. One down, one on for the Bearcats here in the top of the third. As Lewitt takes off, and a nice throw, and they got him. Throw made by Jesse Thurman. Catcher for Franklin County. So now the bases are clean. We got two down here in the top of the third. And a 2-1 count on Blake Franklin. That's off the short part of the bat, and Blake beats that one out. I believe that's Kumar over at second base for Franklin County, and he may have made a mistake by letting that ball drop and then trying to throw it. Now we've got Tyler Peters at the plate. Also a senior football player. In fact, played in the Kentucky-Tennessee Border Bowl Classic back in January. Franklin goes for a steal, but Peters fouls it off. Oh, 1 the count. We'll see if Franklin takes off again. No. Curveball misses high. One and one now to Peters. Throw over to first. Keep Franklin honest. He gets back easily. 2 out, 1 on here in the top of the third. And he takes off this time. A nice throw again, but Franklin gets there. That throw down may have been off to the right just a little bit. Now the Bearcats have a duck on the pond. Curveball outside. And Franklin was going for a steal, but Peters unfortunately looked at that third strike. So the Bearcats still remain scoreless. We go to the bottom of the third with the Flyers coming up. Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All right, at the bottom of the third now. And there's going to be a high ball, but Blake Franklin gets over there to glove that one. 1 down. That was a shortstop, Hampton, that hit the ball for the Flyers. Now we have the third baseman, Gutierrez. Turner's first pitch is outside. Bailey Turner, a junior lefty. I would imagine both teams on the mound up. So we got a grounder here to short, and it's bobbled. Gutierrez will get on. But I would imagine here in the opening day, so to speak, that both of these teams have got their ace pitchers on the mound. Jeremiah Green. Looks at the first pitch, which I think is low. I've heard rumored it's starting to sprinkle outside. Pitch over to first to keep Gutierrez honest. And he goes over there again. That one's fouled off to the right.
Here we go.
Turner's throw. Got away from Rogers over there. Gutierrez now at second. 1-1 is your count. Two and one now to the center fielder, Green. Inside. Three and one to the leadoff batter. And that's a little outside, maybe a little low as well. And now the Flyers have two on with Aram Kumar. He will come to the plate. Second baseman. A base hit here would score another run. It looked like Kumar may have been squaring a bunt there. But Turner goes high. And that one is low and inside, 2-0. They throw back to Gutierrez at second. He's back. Rogers comes over to talk to Turner. Timmy Rogers at first to the senior. Talks to Turner, the junior pitcher. Maybe to calm him down a little bit. Say, just throw strikes, man. That's a strike, but boy, that looked a little high from where I was sitting, but we'll take it. And that's quasi-bunted foul. I'm not sure what you would call that. It wasn't really a swing. It wasn't really a bunt. It was foul. That's what it was. 2-2 now, the count. To Aram Kumar, the second baseman for the Flyers. And Turner gets him to swing at strike three. The pitcher, T.A. Crumbaugh at the plate. Batting cleanup, hits it to second base. It's bobbled, and the Bearcats just hold it. Bases are loaded. Alexander couldn't pick it up cleanly. And T.A. Crumbaugh gets a courtesy runner. And the catcher, Jesse Thurman, comes to the plate for Franklin County. With bases loaded and 2 out. Sprinkling getting a little stronger. See a little more raindrops on the glass here. That one's fouled up. Can the catcher get there? Clink. Oh, it hits his glove and falls out. Good effort by Brendan Clink, the catcher for the Bearcats. And a nice act of sportsmanship there by the other catcher, Thurman, to pick up his helmet for him. That's good to see. Two and one, 2 down, bases loaded. And that pitch is inside. 3 and 1 now. Bailey's got to throw a strike here or a runner scores. And that one's in the dirt. And Turner walks in a runner. 2-0 the score. Gutierrez walks across the plate. Isaac Dotson will step up here with the bases loaded, 2 down. In the bottom of the third with the Flyers with the lead, 2-0. That falls in there. Dotson, the left fielder for Franklin County. 5th batter in the lineup. 1 and 1. High and outside. To Isaac. Inside pitch call, a strike. 2-2 now. Curveball stays outside. Full count now. Bases loaded. 2 down. Big pitch right here. And the runners to go, and it's a high ball 4. Bailey's struggling right now. As a designated hitter, Stephen Golson will come to the plate. Anderson County is going to make a pitching change. We'll step away and come right back after this. Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All right, bases loaded still here for the Franklin County Flyers in the bottom of the 3rd. 2 out, and a nice base hit there by the designated hitter, Stephen Golson. But the Flyers only able to get 1 run in, but that was a nice single over the head and kind of in between the shortstop and second baseman. This will bring up first baseman Alex Campbell. And that's a strike. On the mound now is the former catcher, Klink. He's reversed roles in the battery. And that's going to be 2. 0-2 now on Campbell. Four 4-0 is the score. And well, this could be trouble.
Safe.
Barely got him, but they got him. So the Bearcats finally in the inning, but not if the Flyers score 3 runs in the bottom of the 3rd. Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. All right, leading off here in the top of the 4th for Anderson County will be Timmy Rogers. Timmy is a senior first baseman. Bats left, as you can see. First pitch is a ball, but Crumbo delivers a strike for number 2, so it's 1-1 now. And that pitch is outside. Rogers is 3rd in the lineup. Next up will be Carson Alexander batting cleanup for the Bearcats. And that's called a strike. 2-2. chopper hit to the shortstop. And the pitch is wild, but a good job by Jesse Thurman, the catcher, running down there to pick that errant throw up. Carson Alexander at the plate now. He's the second baseman. Gets a good chunk of that one, but it's going to go foul. Oh, 1 on Carson. Hits it out that way again, and that's almost in the same place. Another foul ball. 0-2. Not sure if he's trying to go that way or just a little slow getting the bat around. Oh, they got him. Oh, my goodness. Bearcats caught a break there. And Carson goes down swinging. Bearcats have a courtesy runner. I think that's a Will Hoyt now on first base. This will bring up Richardson, Joseph Richardson. They go back to first base. Will Hoyt gets back in plenty of time that time. They go back again as Will Hoyt takes a pretty good lead off over there. But Crumbo keeping him honest. 0-1 the count to Richardson. Make that 0-2. As Joseph takes a healthy swing. One down here in the top of the fourth. 4-0 is your score. The Flyers on top. We had a little rain earlier. Looks like it's subsided. That was either high or inside. Although it looked a lot like the first pitch that the ump called a strike. That one's outside. It's 2-2 now. Ball hit hard up the middle, but it's going to be a double play ball. Nice pickup is right at the second baseman. And the Flyers get the Bearcats to go down in 3. Franklin County leads 4-0 here on Anderson County Sports TV. Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Okay, now we're at the bottom of the 4th. Flyers lead 4-0. Klink on top. First ball is hit. Nice pickup by the third baseman over there, Richardson. Gets it on the short hop and fires it down to Rogers for the putout. So now we've got either a pinch hitter or a substitute. Gutierrez is slated to bat here, but Sam Feldman will take his place.
Where are we going next week? Good pitch. Good pitch.
Klink's first pitch is a strike. Oh, and 2 the count. Flyers on top 4-0 over the Bearcats. If you're just tuning in, Bailey Turner started off this game, but then got in a little trouble in the bottom of the 3rd, and Klink came from behind the plate to on top of the mound. Two and 2 your count now. And that one is fouled out. Out of the park, probably close to my car. And that one's high. Now we've gone from 0-2 to 3-2. Full count now on Sam Feldman, sophomore, utility infielder. And he walks him. And this will bring up the leadoff batter, Jeremiah Green. One down, one on for Franklin County here in the bottom of the 4th. And that's right up the middle off the mound. Oh, a fortuitous bounce to the second baseman, Alexander, and he's able to get the lead runner. That'll bring Aram Kumar to the plate. He struck out in the last inning. Two out now as Klink delivers a strike. Strike two. The Bearcats kept the Flyers off the scoreboard in the first. The Flyers scored a run in the bottom of the second on a sacrifice fly, and they've got Green in a rundown, and he's tagged out at second base. So Kumar will return to the plate in the bottom of the fifth, and the Bearcats will be up. That's next on Anderson County Sports TV. Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Leading off for the Bearcats here in the top of the fifth. Will be Zach Labhart, sophomore, three-sport athlete, at least three. Good football player. Basically, in fact, he wound up starting at the end of the season for the basketball team. And now he's the left fielder for the baseball team. 2-1 now, the count on Zach. Grumbo still on the mound for Franklin County. 2-2 as Zach swings hard on that one. Grumbo probably the best pitcher the Flyers have. And they throw their ace against the Bearcats. Zach hits it to the short stop, and his throw pulls the first baseman off the bag. So Labhart will reach on an error. Cameron Harrod at the plate now for Anderson County. They trail 4-0. Cameron, a junior. But he hits into a double play. Klink is batting, but he's wearing number 11. And that's another error by the shortstop. And Klink takes off for second base, and he's going to be tagged out. So he got the hit, or got the able to reach first on the error, but then was thrown out by the first baseman trying to stretch it into a two-bagger. Bearcats trail 4-0. Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Welcome back, folks. I've got some explaining to do. My roster information was Incorrect. Klink is still behind the plate. He's wearing number 11. My roster had him as 5. This number 5 is actually Spencer Davis on the mound for the Bearcats. He's a sophomore. I had Klink as number 5. Klink is actually 11. And there's a dribbler. Davis picks it up, throws the first, gets the out. Now T.A. Crumbo will come to the plate with one down. That was Kumar that batted earlier for Franklin County. Crumbo, the pitcher, reached on error in the third when Franklin County scored 3 of their 4 runs, but he hits one to Alexander at second, and he throws it to Rogers for 2 down here in the bottom of the 5th. That'll bring up Jesse Thurman, who happens to be the quarterback of the Flyer football team. Spencer working on his cleats out there. I don't know if somebody gave him a stick, if it's a wire brush or what they got back there behind the mound, but with that light rain that fell earlier causes that dirt to stick to the bottom of cleats. 4-0 your score here in the bottom of the 5th. They play 7 innings in high school baseball, so Anderson County will need to keep it close and put some runs on the board. So far they got a goose egg, 4-0 here in the bottom of the 5th with 2 down and 0-1 on Thurman. Another strike. Nice pitch by Spencer Davis. And speaking of Franklin County quarterbacks, former Franklin County quarterback and Anderson County native, Logan Woodside. Could see his name in the NFL draft. And Thurman goes down swinging. 3 up and 3 down for the Flyers. And then Anderson County will come back in the top of the 6th with Lewitt, Turner, and Franklin. Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Well, folks, the rain is starting to come down fairly steady now. It's falling straight down out of the sky. No lightning, just a little spring shower here on the last day of winter. We have number 31 at the plate. Right now, that's not Lewitt. I'm not sure who that is. Don't have a 31 on my roster. I have several names here, but without numbers. As Crumbo's pitch goes way over the top of the catcher Thurman. 2-0. Of course, if this is a rainout, we've got enough for a complete game now. We're in the top of the 6th, so if the game were to stop right now, that would be it, and Anderson County would take a loss. But they've got 2 more at-bats coming if the rain will hold off, and number 31 does draw a base on balls. Franklin County, I think, is going to make a pitching change right here. They'll bring in Dario Gutierrez, and then the top of their order will come up with Blake Franklin when we return here on Anderson County Sports TV. Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Welcome back, folks. 4-0 is your score here in the top of the 6th. Anderson County trails Franklin County. Colton Cornish was the last batter. He's the one who drew the base on balls. But now he's out of the game, and they've got a courtesy runner over there. I'm not sure who that is. Blake Franklin is at the plate for the Bearcats. Gutierrez throws over to first to keep the runner honest. That one's in the dirt. 2-0. Not really sure why the Flyers made the pitching change. I thought Crumbo was doing okay so far, throwing a shutout. Gutierrez delivers a strike that time. 2-1 now as the light rain continues to fall. And another one on the outside corner. 2-2 now, the count to the senior Blake Franklin. Curveball misses outside by Gutierrez. I believe the count is full, even though the scoreboard says 2-2. Well, no, apparently it was accurate. No, that was a 3-2 pitch. So Franklin draws the base on balls. And the Bearcats have 2 runners on as Tyler Peters, the right fielder, comes to the plate. Nobody out here in the top of the 6th. Dario delivers. Peters hits it down. And the Bearcats, they did not send their runner. I think they did, but they put Lewitt back in there, I believe, to run. Yes, Cornish drew the base on balls, but once he got to the first base, they subbed Lewitt back in. So it's a bases loaded situation here for the third batter in the lineup, Timmy Rogers. That's sticky dirt on the mound, causing troubles for all the pitchers. Rogers was the leadoff batter in the 4th, and he reached because of an error by the shortstop. Looks at ball 1 in the dirt. That's right down the middle. 1-1 now for Rogers. And the umps are conferring about the probably about the mound. This is a game that doesn't really mean anything since this is out of district for both teams, of course. Out of district, out of region. And they may call these players in for a little bit, see what they want to do about the rain. So that appears that's what is going to take place. And like I said, we have a complete game if they call it because of rain. And the Flyers would win 4-0. That would be unfortunate for Anderson County since they have bases loaded here in the top of the 6th. But both pitchers are having trouble out there on the mound. As you can see, they're going to cover the mound right now. Perhaps this rain will subside, but what I saw on the radar earlier, that's not the case. It's going to get worse before it gets better. So we will see when we come back here on Anderson County Sports TV. Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Well, folks, it appears that they have called this game after 5. The Bearcats had bases loaded, but like I said earlier, in a game that really has no impact as far as district seedings, they decided just to play it safe. I can't say I blame the officials for doing that. The Bearcats fall in their first game of the season, 4-0 to the Franklin County Flyers. Thank you for watching Anderson County Sports TV.